Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. Today we're going to be discussing the Magearna suspect that just went up. I'm actually bringing you guys this video before it goes up because I wrote up the OP already for the post. We're going to be discussing the reasoning behind why Magearna is suspecting, some pros to being banned, some cons, and my personal opinion on it as well, and going over the whole post outlining the suspect itself. But first off, I just want to say thanks to everyone in OU Council. We've been doing a really thorough job at trying to make the tier the best possible, and I know a lot of people have their grievances about the metagame, but we're definitely taking steps forward to not only be as transparent as possible and communicative as possible with you guys, but also to make the SSEU metagame the best possible, and I find this amazing. Anyway, CDK gave the thumbs up on a Magearna suspect, and I happen to really agree with this. So I wrote up the OP for it yesterday. I'm going to post it today between 2 and 3 o'clock. That'll be good. And then we'll get this video up around 3 o'clock, so that's great. Anyway, so I guess this is a bit of a comment question before I go into it. We don't have the song picked out for this yet, so what song do you guys think would be indicative of Magearna for a Magearna suspect? Let me know in the comments below. Unfortunately, we'll have already picked up the song by the time the video goes up, but I'm curious to see what you guys like, what you guys think would fit. So definitely let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below, but anyway, let's get into it. So yeah, hey everyone, OU Tiering Council decided to suspect this Magearna. I'm just going to go through the reasoning that I wrote up and my councilman friends helped revise. Magearna has been one of the strongest Pokemon at SSU ever since it was released during DLC 1 Isle of Armor. With a versatile move pool including new moves like Trick, Draining Kiss, and Stored Power, superb natural bulk, and a practical type, Magearna has found many ways to impact the SSU metagame. So basically what this is trying to say is that Magearna has a lot of different things it could do, and because of that, it's definitely something that we've had to keep our eyes on from day one, and now we believe it's to the point where it is deeming a suspect. Perhaps the most profound impact on SSU that it's had is the Choice Picks variant, which is very limited counterplay overall. So we're actually going to go into Choice Picks Magearna a ton because, in my personal opinion, that is what makes it broken. Yes, I will be voting ban on Magearna, but we'll get into that more and more as the video goes on. Choice Picks Magearna takes advantage of fully of base 130 special attacks in order to break through opposing teams. The scope of Magearna's effectiveness does not only find itself limited to the Choice Specs variant either, as it's a versatile Pokemon, has a wide array of setup variants that it could use at a high level in the metagame. It makes consistently checking or countering it very challenging. So first off, we're going to discuss the Choice Specs variant, and then we're going to get into the other variants beyond that. So here we go. Some of the biggest pros of Magearna and SSU come from its natural characteristics. The Steel Fairy typing, yeah, it has great bulk. It also is able to get in repeatedly. So that's just some kind of baseline stuff about it. But we're going to go ahead and skip to this paragraph. Choice Specs Magearna is the most common and effective variant, while plenty of breakers in SSU hit hard, such as Urshifu with the Choice Band and Rillaboom, as well with the Choice Band. Magearna's Choice Specs boosted Flare Cannon may stand out even in this company, so yeah, as the paragraph proceeds to go, resists like Excadrill, Rotom, Heat, and Cinderace are all taking north of 60%, potentially even up to 80% from Flare Cannon, which is amazing considering it's resistant. And Volt Switch obviously shreds Cinderace as well, doing similar damage levels to it. And then regenerated Pokemon like Toxix and Amoonguss can take Flare Cannons repeatedly, but Toxix has to watch out. It can take north of 60% from Volt Switch, and Amoonguss is still killed by Flash Cannon, so that leaves them as very shaky answers, especially since if they take a Volt Switch, then you bring in something like Cinderace, and it's able to take it out from those low levels of health, or just destroy Amoonguss in general. On top of that, you have things like Chansey and Blissey, which in theory do keep it in check. However, one thing that's worth noting is the fact that after a couple of Volt Switches, they're 2-kill range for Aura Sphere or Flare Cannon, and on top of that, they do leave themselves susceptible to Trick, which is another option on Choice Specs Magearna that a lot of people have been running. All things considered, Choice Specs Magearna has a small pool of counterplay and is capable of circumventing a lot of it for the aforementioned reasons, but with that said, it's still limited to 4 moves. You have to pick between Aura Sphere for Steel types or Trick for crippling things like Chansey and Blissey. It also only has 65 base speed, which makes revenge killing impossible due to Cinderace, Rotom, Heat, Excadrill, I guess Chandelure, insert fast, strong Pokemon that can revenge kill it but can't really switch in safely, basically. So it's not like completely unheard of beating it, of course. No, it's beatable. It's just very hard to beat, and oftentimes you have to rely on out-predicting it and potentially even losing your checks and counters to it, which also means you're going to struggle to check and counter its teammates, which opens up the game a ton. It is, again, a bit prediction reliant, but a distinguishing factor between it and other breakers is the fact that it has the bulk of typing to where even if it gets something wrong the first time, or the second time it gets in more times than most because of how bulky it is with 80, 115, 115 bulk, and a Steel plus Fairy typing. That just is amazing. And on top of that, it's able to take advantage of common walls like Mandibuzz, Clefable, and Slowbro, being able to potentially one-shot all 3 of them with ease. And it is worth noting as well that hyper-offensive teams actually are able to minimize the effect it has just because they're so strong and fast that While they forgo defensive counterplay, they're able to only let it in 1 or 2 times and maybe limit it to 1 kill, which is enough to where, it's fine. It's a really good Pokemon, and limiting it to just basically carrying its own weight is more than okay. But beyond the choice specs, Magearna has many other sets, or as I like to say, many tricks stored up its sleeve. A bit of a wordplay there because it gets stored power and trick this generation. I figured why not. But anyway, a lot of other noteworthy Magearna variants focus on setups with things. So yeah, the big 3 are Shift Gear, Calm Mind, and Iron Defense. And when I say big 3, I don't mean 3 different sets. No, those are the big 3 moves it could use to set up, boost. Shift Gear in particular can run sets with Electro Ball to break Tox, Specs, and Slowbro. Or it can run Shift Gear plus Calm Mind to just kind of be a double booster set like last generation. Alternatively though, Sub Calm Mind has been a really good anti-metagame Pokemon taking advantage of Tox, Specs, and Amoonguss. And on top of that, Iron Defense plus Calm Mind with stored power is great to snowball into a sweep. However, each of these sets have cons. For example, Shift Gear sets struggle to break through walls like Chansey, Blissey, Jirachi, etc. Even Excadrill if it lacks Focus Blast. On the flip side, though, Sub Calm Mind variants aren't great at actually finishing out games. And on top of that, Chansey, Blissey could wall them, whereas Pokemon like Rotom Heat, Cinderace, Chandelure, Excadrill could all beat the Flare Cannon plus Thunderbolt coverage tends to use. And unfortunately, while the Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Stored Power Dranicus set is really great, things like his Tox Specs can dispose of it, and offensive fire and ground types like Cinderace and Excadrill can beat them before it's able to be brought down. So given all of that, it's unfortunate that these Magearna sets all have shortcomings to the point that I don't actually view setup Magearna as broken. I don't view versatility as the main distinguishing factor so much as I view the choice spec set as just outright ridiculous and there's insufficient counterplay to it. But a lot of other people have the opinion that because of the fact that Magearna is so versatile, it's really hard to universally counter it. And I understand that opinion. It's just not my personal reason for believing it should be banned. But I think we all are kind of in the same camp in that regard. It's just different reasoning. So I respect both sides. But yeah, moving forward, there are some cons of Magearna, of course. For example, it is a bit slower than most things, so revenge killing is very possible. And again, it can only run 4 moves, 1 item, 508 EVs, so it's limited to so much you can do. And on a lot of teams, you can figure out what it is early and then keep it in check repeatedly, especially if it's not the choice spec set. Again, in my personal opinion, the choice spec set is kind of what overrides on the counterplay and always going to force progress and break through games, and that's where it goes over the edge to broken, in my opinion. But again, you're entitled to feel differently, of course, and definitely let me know your opinion, not only in the song that I mentioned before, but also Magearna as a whole in the comments below. I'll be reading everyone's comments and trying to respond to some as well, as usual. But yeah, just to wrap things up, overall, Magearna is a great option in the metagame, but there is some counterplay to it, and there are some limitations to what it can do. It can be argued that Magearna imposes restrictions on team building due to how oppressive the choice spec set is and how versatile it is overall, which again is basically echoing what I said before. But even if you prepare for it sufficiently, there is a possibility it will continue to give you issues due to the choice specs variant forcing progress and wearing out defensive cores. With that said, though, many common structures are able to minimize how it gets in and how often it could make progress and how predictor in line it might be, especially if you build a proper defensive core, like say Amoonguss plus a steel type or ground type to help minimize a lot of things. But you really do need to have durable resist to Flare Cannon, Flash Cannon, and a Voltage immunity in order to capitalize on that. And even then, again, it's still prediction line. So it's a lot of things you got to do to get that choice spec set in check. So that's kind of where I'm worried about it. But yeah, Magearna is a good win condition with a wide array of options that leave many teams struggling to consistently handle it. Despite all that, though, there are still some checks and counters to every single variant of Magearna, including setup variants being checked multiple times over by a lot of teams. So yeah, due to the points outlined above, the council has decided that Magearna is worthy of a suspect test. So yeah, that's the little OP I wrote up. My friends helped me revise on Magearna, and we're going to be suspecting it. So for those of you that want information on it, you got to hop on the ladder in Pokemon Showdown. You got to reach 82 GXC over the course of 40 games or more. So it could take you guys 40 games, it could take you 50 games, it could take you 60 games, etc. You just got to hit 82 GXC, and you can't do it on your main account, though. You got to go on an OUTU account. That's right, OUTU. For example, mine might be OUTU Finch or something else like that. You got a ladder on those accounts, and then you got to post the proof that you hit the 82 GXC in 40 games or more on the forums. There's going to be a thread in the OU subforum that is pinned, basically called Rex Confirmation Thread or Suspect Confirmation Thread. You post in there with a screenshot of your Rex, and then on the 4th of August, on the 5th of August, there'll be a vote thread. You'll be tagged, and you'll be able to post your vote there if you do get Rex. So definitely try that out. I'm also going to be posting all of my suspect laddering from Magearna on this channel over the next couple of days. So definitely stay tuned for that. There's a lot of coming. And yeah, for those of you wondering, Magearna is allowed. Don't make any alts that could mock or impersonate people. be nice, and if you got a post in the thread, it's going to be open as of about 24 to 27 hours from now, I'd say. And definitely be sure to let people know your opinions in the thread, because posting goes a long way, guys. And yeah, just one other thing, some rules about the thread, yup. But also, something I needed to get to is my boy TDK, the leader of OU right now alongside EO, and honestly, one of the people that has helped me understand tiering stuff the most over the years. Wrote a little blurb because we did a recent survey on SSOU that you can check out here. Basically, we surveyed all of the players of the World Cup of Pokemon and all the substitutes and managers, basically saying how they thought about the metagame. And a lot of people thought the metagame was okay, but not great. I'll be sure to leave a link to this in the description, but basically a lot of people wanted us to act on Magearna and Cinderace, as you can see here, let me scroll down. So yeah, 75.5% of respondents wanted to see Magearna get banned or suspected tested soon. 78.1% wanted to see Cinderace get suspect tested soon. So why are we doing Magearna first? This post really outlines it well. It's going to be in the thread as well, but basically, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this and saying, like, why Magearna, not Cinderace? So the big thing is that why not Cinderace? Speaking simply what I think here, and this is TDK's words, not as much the council, I can always lean towards giving everything a proper amount of time rather than being too harsh on things. I don't want to see us knee-jerk react to something that potentially not be as big of an issue. If something just starts to gain real traction in the community as being busted, which again, Cinderace was an issue more during the third week of the World Cup Pokemon over the last 2 weeks than it was like overall, whereas Magearna has been an issue arguably since day one, but specifically since people used the choice spec set over the last, say, 3 to 4 weeks. So it's been a bit longer, but yeah, it will assuredly get banned, a knee-jerk reaction. I'm not trying to act like it isn't something that's wrong or the timeline is a fact, because people might have had other opinions differently, but I simply want to be sure we aren't acting too quickly. I've been just as guilty as plenty of others in wanting to ban things potentially that aren't issues, and I just want to say personally that I think if I was still tier leader right now, and right now I'm taking a step back from that and I'm still in council, but with that said, I think I probably would have ended up banning it prematurely. So definitely my bad there, and I think TDK brings up some really amazing points. Now I'm not saying Cinderace has been really good for too long. It's been great ever since Libera got released and has been on our radar for a while. However, it's definitely skyrocketed in the past couple of weeks. He said 2 weeks, which is about how I see it, how good people generally think it is to be. I believe a lot of people look at Urshifu similarly at first, or at least now a large portion of the community doesn't want it to be anywhere close to then. It doesn't want it to be banned, and yeah, only like less than half people wanted Urshifu to be banned, and personally I believe Urshifu was kept in check pretty well by the metagame right now. It could be broken in the future, but right now I think Urshifu is just fine for the metagame. It's good at forcing progress and really breaking down stall and bulkier teams as well. Anyway, again, Cinderace isn't the same. It's been around longer. It's been good for longer. We get that it's really good, and we're open to looking into it in the future, but right now we think that might be a little premature. We want to give it more time, and that's why we want to go for Magearna, which, again, this is pretty much echoing the sentiments I expressed in the OP, so I'm not going to go ahead and read that, but I did want to bring up some of TDK's really great points. So yeah, this is a video on the Magearna suspect in SSU. I definitely don't want to talk to death because I already did a video on Magearna in the tier and the issues with SSU, so definitely be sure to check those out. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Magearna in the metagame. Do you think it's broken, and why? Do you think it's not broken, and why? And are you guys excited to see me ladder for the Magearna suspect in the coming days? I'm going to try and get one video out for that every single day, if not then one every other day for sure at the minimum. And yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts on the song Magearna in the comment. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you guys enjoy what I'm putting out and you want to see Magearna go. And yeah, have a great day, guys. All right, peace out.